second grade. Today's lesson is a reteach of topic C. You took the quiz on Friday. We looked at the results and there were some areas where we still needed some work. So we're going to go through some practice so that you can be ready for your work today. The first tricky thing for us was determining rows versus columns. So remember that rows go side to side, columns go up and down or top to bottom. Again, rows go side to side and columns go top to bottom. So I want you to look at this image, pause if you need to, stick that in your brain. This is going to be incredibly important as we continue our learning with arrays, and you will need to know this on the end of module assessment. Let's do a little practice. Looking at this array and seeing which way the arrows are going. Is this array showing you rows or columns? Think of your answer in your brain. If you said rows, you are correct. Try this one. Look at which way the arrows are going. Is this array showing you rows or columns? Get your answer in your brain. And if you said columns, you are correct. Looking at question 2, this was a really tricky one just because there were so many pieces to fill in. The main reason that people missed points is like here, you can see an empty box. This person didn't fill in an answer for this part. So if you didn't fill in parts or all of this question, you missed all of those points. So just make sure in the future that you're doing that. The other tricky thing that people are confusing is that they are adding numbers together and not doing repeated addition. So I want to break this problem down for you a little bit and just kind of go through it piece by piece. So part of the question asked you, blank columns of blank is blank. So you're looking at this array, and the first thing you want to ask yourself is, how many columns are there? Because they're asking you for columns. Columns go up and down or side to side? Right, columns go up and down. So there's one column, another one, there's one, and there's one. So how many columns are here? How many columns do you see? Exactly, there are 4. You can see going from top to bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Second thing that they're asking you for is how many squares or how many tiles are in each column. So you have to go to a column and count up how many squares you see in that column. So let's go ahead and do that. There's a square, there's a square, and there's a square. So how many square tiles are in each column? Right, 3. The last thing they're wondering is how many square tiles are there in all? So you cannot simply add 4 and 3 together and get your answer because there are more than 7 square tiles in this array. Okay, so you have to count up how many square tiles are in this array all together. So count them up. You can skip count or you can count one by one. How many square tiles do you see? When you know, put your finger on your nose. If you said 12, you are correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So again, you cannot simply add the numbers together. It's repeated addition. It is 3, 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So how many tiles and how many columns there are? There are three tiles in each column, but there are 4 columns. So you have to do 3 4 times, okay? So let's look at it this way. This is something that a student filled in for an answer when they were asked about rows. 3 rows of 4 is 7. So let's break it apart. How many rows are there? Do rows go up and down or side to side? Yep, rows go side to side. So we're going to count side to side how many rows we see. 1, 2, 3. So was that person correct about how many rows there are? Yes, they were. Okay. We want to know how many square tiles are in each row. So of course we're going to find a row and count the square tiles. How many tiles in each row? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this person said that there are 3 rows of 4. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. And now they're saying 3 rows of 4 is 7. Okay, that last part is how many square tiles in all. Are there 7 square tiles in all in this array? Yes or no? There are not. There are not 7 square tiles. So the way that we figure that out is we take our 3 rows of 4, we count them up to find out how many square tiles are there in all. When you have your answer, put your hand on your head. Okay? Remember, it's not 3 plus 4. It is 4 plus 4 plus 4 because there's 3 rows of 4 square tiles. There's 4 one time, 4 a second time, 4 a third time, so don't get tricked. If you said 12, you are correct. So in this array, the total number of square tiles does not change, but what changes is if you're looking at rows or columns. You have to be really careful in looking for that. And you cannot just add the numbers together. This is repeated addition. This is not the same as adding just 2 numbers together, okay? So be really careful. The last problem we're going to look at is number 1. It says Carmen created the rectangle shown using the square tiles. You guys did a great job filling in part A of how many tiles Carmen used. You just simply count them up. There are 15. The tricky part was part B. Which of the following describe the array? Select all that are correct. This tells you that more than one answer can be correct. And this student chose F as a correct answer, which is true, but the problem is that there were 3 other answers that were also correct. So this student missed out on some points. So we're looking at the array and trying to find out all of the things that are correct. So we'll start with the one that they got right, 5 plus 5 plus 5. And the way we figure that out is we look for groups of 5. Where do we see groups of 5? Here's a group of 5 going up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's another group of 5. And there's another group of 5. So that's 3 groups of 5 that you can add together. Does that match letter F? Yes, it does. So that's a correct answer. But we know that if we're looking at columns, we can find another correct answer here. Something that talks about columns, okay? The columns go up and down. So there are how many? 1, 2, 3 columns with 5 square tiles in each one. So you can see that letter E is also a correct answer. 3 columns of 5. Okay. Continuing on, we also know that letter C is correct, 5 rows of 3 tiles. How would I figure out that that's correct? Well, I could count up the rows. 1, remember rows go side to side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 rows. And 1, 2, 3 square tiles in each one. So again, there's another correct answer there. Also, letter B is a correct answer. You can see from the green check mark. 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Well, how would I figure out that that's a correct answer? I'm looking for, okay, groups of 3, and it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Well, there's a group of 3. There's a second group of 3. Third group of 3. Another group of 3. And a 5th group of 3. So again, that's a correct answer. 3 rows of 5 tiles would not be right because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. And 3 plus 3 plus 3 would not be correct because when you're looking at your 3 columns, there's 5 tiles in the column, not 3. So when you're looking at these problems, 2nd grade, and they're asking you to select all that are correct, you need to go answer by answer and figure out, does this fit with this array? Does this make sense? Because chances are if they're asking you to select all that are correct, there's usually going to be more than one answer. So you really need to take your time when you're looking at the work today, and just really be looking for rows or columns and remembering that this is repeated addition. So you're counting up all the tiles in the rows and columns, okay? Good luck, and if you need help, I am here to help you. Bye-bye, second grade.